So, you decided it's time to drag race, huh? You want to hit the track, run some deadly consistent bracket times, or maybe you're even aiming for a 1,000 horsepower heads-up monster. You hop online to figure out every engine combo in every single forum. Everyone just gives you the exact same answer. Bro, just buy a 6.0 liter iron block out of a junkyard van, drop in some forged rods and pistons at it, and you're golden. It sounds cheap, right? But hear me out. If your goal is to actually survive a full brutal season of track abuse doing a budget forged build on a greasy junkyard block, it might turn out tragic. Today, we're putting a Junkyard 6.0 rebuild head-to-head against a fully built crate engine to prove why swallowing your pride and buying a crate motor might be the best way to go. And look, I'm not pulling this opinion out of thin air. I grew up by the industry. My dad has been building racing engines and dynoing high-performance engines in racing transmissions here in the Midwest for around 30 years. I've seen exactly what survives a track season. In fact, the reason we're going to use Blueprint engines as our benchmark for the math today is based on real-world results we have seen on engines that my father has dynoed. A while back, a customer brought in a crate motor from another big brand, ATK. Let's just say it was rated for 350 horsepower. He strapped it down, made 0 tuning changes, and it choked out at 325. What a total heartbreak. But then he put a Blueprint engine on the exact same dyno. Not only did it hit the numbers on the box, it actually made more horsepower than they promised. Now, maybe that first engine was just a Friday afternoon fluke, but when you are drag racing, you cannot afford flukes. You need absolute bulletproof consistency. Real quick side note, if you are from the Midwest and you actually need a rebuilt bulletproof street or track engine or racing transmission built by a guy who actually knows his stuff, go to the About page in my channel and shoot me an email. But back to your build. We aren't just stopping at the engine block. We're going to be breaking down the real world cost of an engine plus superchargers, nitros, and turbos. As some of you already know, if you're going to try to win bracket races, slapping a massive turbo on your car is not the right move. Alright, before we even talk about the engine itself, we have to talk about how you are actually making power. Because if you pair the wrong power adder with the wrong racing style, you are going to be miserable. And first up on our list, turbos. If you're bracket racing where your entire game is running the exact same ET down the thousandths of a second every single pass, a turbocharger is an absolute worst enemy. I know the internet loves turbos because making 1,000 horsepower on a 6.0 with like an S480 is incredibly easy, but making 1,000 horsepower consistently off the starting line is a totally different ballgame. When you stage a turbo car, you're managing chaos. You have to get on the trans brake, put the pedal on the floor, and wait for the turbo to spool and build boost. But depending on the ambient air temperature, how the track is, and how heat soaked your intercooler got while you were just sitting there in the staging lanes, that turbo is going to spool a little differently every single round. So if you build 8 pounds of boost on your first pass, but only build 6 pounds of boost on your second pass before the tree even drops, you already lost the race. Plus, to even get a turbo to spool consistently on the line, you need an exact specific loose torque converter and a bump box and CO2 for your wastegates and highly advanced boost controllers. So let's break down the real world turbo setup. You might see like a budget VS racing kit, for around $2,500, but by the time you add the quality boost controller, CO2 bottle, decent wastegates so you don't overboost, a custom hot side fabrication, and the specific torque converter, you are easily in the $5,000 to $7,000 just to make it leave the starting line properly. If you want to win bracket races, you need instant, reputable torque. That leaves you with 2 options: a supercharger or nitrous. Alright, let's look at superchargers first. Because a supercharger is belt driven, it doesn't care about the exhaust gas or spool time. When you hit the gas, the boost is instantly there exactly the way you want it every single time. Now the downside is the buy-in. An LSA blower conversion or a basic Whipple or Magnuson setup for a 6.0 is going to run around $6,000 to $9,000 in the hole. But hear me out, like you guys know, once you buy it, it's a complete ecosystem. It's great. You bolt it on, you tune it, and it just works. No custom hot piping, no boxes. Then there's the great equalizer, nitrous oxide. For bracket racing, nitrous is incredible because it hits instantly. A 200 shot is a 200 shot right off the trans brake. The upfront cost is ridiculously cheap. You can get a plate kit for around $1,000, but here's a real world buying cost that guys sometimes forget. Nitrous only stays consistent if the bottle pressure stays consistent. You need a bottle heater, a purge kit, and a progressive controller so you don't blow the tires off in the first hit. Now your $1,000 kit is probably around $2,000. And here's another kicker. You pay per pound. At $8 to $10 per pound, every time you make a pass, you are literally spraying $10 to $15 out of your tailpipe. Over a full season of bracket racing, you are easily spending the cost of a supercharger just refilling blue bottles. So if you want a dedicated, reliable bracket car for the whole season, the supercharger is is your most consistent headache-free investment. But if you're building like a heads-up 1,000 horsepower car where the only consistency you need is making it past the finish line, that's when the turbo kind of shines. But no matter what power adder you actually choose, you still have to bolt it onto an engine block. And this is where the junkyard guys completely ruin it. Now, I know there's a whole group of guys out there screaming right now, what about NA? And look, I gotta give the NA guys some credit. If we're talking purely about bracket racing, a dialed in naturally aspirated setup is actually a lean cuisine. There's no nitrous bottle, no pressure to babysit. There's no intercooler heat soak while you're just sweating in the staging lanes. You don't have to mess with the boost controllers or wastegate springs. You literally just start the car, put it in gear, and then you'll run the exact same elapsed time down the thousandths of a second, hot lap after hot lap. 10 out of 10 for bracket racing, only if your reaction time is though. But hear me out, you can't just slap on a budget cam in a junkyard block and expect it to run 8s. To make big NA power, you need massive compression, you need to drop $3,000 to $5,000 on a serious CNC ported heads, a custom solid roller cam, and a valve train light enough to survive 8,500 RPM without floating a valve and sending a piston straight into orbit. You end up spending twin turbo money just to make half the peak power. So if your goal is to just run deadly consistent 10s all weekend without opening up your hood, NA is great for this. But if you're chasing 8 or 9s on a working man's budget, you have to put power adder on it to actually make it work pretty nicely. Alright, so you pick the power adder, now you just need to figure out how fast you actually want to go, because that dictates exactly what you're about to do with the engine block. A lot of guys go to the track with a completely warped sense of what makes it run fast in an elapsed time. They think around 500 horsepower is going to put them into the 8s. And let me just give you the real world math for a standard 32 to 3,500 pound street or drag car like your average Fox body swap or an F body. If you want to run like 10.50 in the quarter mile, you need roughly around 500 to 600 horsepower to tire. If you want to crack into the 9s, which is incredibly fast for a reliable bracket car, you need to be making around 8 to 850 horsepower. And if you're chasing that absolute monster of like 850 pass, you're going to build like 1,000 horsepower heads up car, and you need every bit of 4-digit to the wheels. So look, if your goal is to just run 10s, a stock bottom end Junkyard 6.0 with a cam and some boost will live a very happy, long life. But if you want to run 9s consistently week in and week out for the whole season, or you want to push around that 1,000 horsepower to get that 8-second pass, you're going to have to forge the bottom end. The stock metal rods in a Junkyard 6.0 are essentially ticking time bombs once you push past like the 800 wheel horsepower and put them on a trans brake. And this is exactly where the junkyard guys completely ruin their bank accounts. So first you have to buy the core, right? A decent 6.0 like LQ4 or LQ9 pullout right now is going to run you around $800 to $1,200, but let's just call it a grand for easy math. So you get this thing home, right? You throw it in a stand, pull the heads off, and man, it's rough. You're looking at 200,000 miles of a dude throwing a skid steer. The cylinders are glazed over, they're out of round, and you can literally catch a fingernail on the ridge at the top of the bore. You can't just run a ball hone through that, right? Throw some rings on it and expect it to survive 1,000 horsepower. It's just not going to happen. So what do? You load this greasy bare block into the back of your buddy's truck and haul it over to a local machine shop. And this is where you enter the machine shop jail. So you basically need the works, right? Hot tank, magnafluxing to make sure it's not cracked, and boring it out to clean up those walls, decking the surface so your heads actually seal boost. And don't forget about line honing, and all that is easily going to run you around $1,200 to $1,500 just for the machine work. But honestly, the money isn't even the worst part. It's the time. Think about it. These local machine shops are slammed with massive commercial diesel accounts, or the local dirt track guys dropping 50 grand a year. You bringing in that crusty LS block, yeah, you're going straight to the back of the line. Your block is going to sit on that pallet collecting dust for 3, maybe 6 months. You are literally missing half of the racing season just waiting for a phone call. And to make it worse, because they had to bore the block out and fix those thrashed walls, your stock pistons are completely useless now anyway. You're forced to buy an oversized forged drop-ins whether you originally budgeted for them or not. Now you buy your budget drop-in forged rods and pistons plus rings and bearings, that's another $1,500 to $2,000. You are going to need ARP main studs and head studs because you're probably going to be running boost. That's $500. You need a good valve train, cam, lifters, push rods, trunnion upgrade. That's another $1,000. And that's being generous for prices. You just spend around $5,500 to probably $6,000 and sacrifice 4 months of your life to build a budget junkyard short block in a dusty garage, absolutely praying you gap the rings correctly so it doesn't smoke at the starting line. But let's move over to like the crate engine reality. For around $5,500 to $6,500, you can literally go online and order a fully machined fully forged, professionally assembled 6.0 short block from a place like Blueprint Engines. It arrives at your door in a few days, 0 wait time, no machine shop jail. But more importantly, it is built by professionals in a climate-controlled clean room. The bearing clearances are mic'd up perfectly for your own power adder. The ring gap is exactly where it needs to be. You get absolute track-ready consistency right out of the crate. And if you buy like a full long block or dress it out, a lot of these companies actually back it up with a warranty. Try asking your local junkyard for a warranty when you snap the rod at 7,000 RPM. Now look, to be completely fair, because I already know the forum guys are going to be in the comments yelling at me, buying a crate engine isn't exactly the magic bullet because it doesn't come with everything. And yeah, I get that. When you order a short block for $6,000, that's literally all it is, right? A block, a crank, rods, and pistons. You crack open the crate and there's no oil pan, no timing cover, no rear cover, no sensors, no balancers, nothing. If you're starting from absolute scratch, buying all of those covers, a decent Holley swap pan, and all of your sensors, that's going to be easily set you back another $800 to $1,000. But here's the workaround. If you already have a blown up motor sitting in the corner of your garage, or if you bought like a cheap core to begin with, just rob all those covers, the windage tray, and the pan off of all of that, right? Clean them up and bolt them straight onto a new crate engine. Even if you end up having to buy a couple of new gaskets or sensors, or you still completely skipping that 6-month wait time for a machine shop, and you've got the bottom end that is perfectly clearance and actually has a warranty, I mean, how can you deny that? And speaking of cleaning up those old parts, let's actually talk about the heroes of any engine build, the shop supplies. Whether you're tearing down a greasy junkyard block or prepping a new shiny crate engine, you are going to burn through those supplies. I put links in the description to the exact stuff you need in your shop through Summit Racing. First off, stop buying single cans of brake cleaner from your local parts store that cost $8 a pop. Grab the case of Lucas Brake parts cleaner. I'll put the part number on the screen, and it's about $60 for the case, and you're going to need every single drop of it to blast that sludge out of the junkyard oil pan. You're also going to need something to wipe it all down. Do not use your wife's good bath towels, and stop using those cheap red rags that leave lint inside your engine block. I linked the Summit Racing Bulk Torque Shop Max Advanced Towels. Yes, it's around $158, but those massive 4-pack bulk boxes will literally last you through an entire build and the next 3 project cars. And finally, when you get that fresh crate motor bolted in, do not disrespect it by pouring cheap bottom shelf oil into it. We run the VP Racing Pro Grade Full Synthetic 5W30. And here's the part number. It's around $20 a quart, but it is absolute cheap insurance for a $6,000 engine, I promise. And all of these are linked below. If you grab your supplies through those in Summit Racing affiliate links, it doesn't cost you a single extra penny, but it does help my channel out massively. So thank you. So when my dad is building a customer's racing transmission or putting a car on the dyno, the number one thing that kills track sessions isn't the tune. It's bad tolerances from a sloppy garage build. Buying the crate engine isn't just buying parts, you're buying back your time, and you're buying the absolute guarantee that your engine isn't going to be the reason you lose in the first round of eliminations. So listen, building a drag car is actually about making it to the starting line. It is not about letting your chassis rot on jack stands for 2 years while you're trying to nickel and dime your way through a budget engine build. If you're just throwing together a sketchy street car build to do burnouts behind an abandoned warehouse with your buddies, by all means, grab the greasy 800 Junkyard 6.0, gap the factory rings in your driveway, and send it to the moon. When it blows up, sweep it up and buy another one. But if you want to run 9s consistently, if you want to survive a full season of bracket racing on the trans brake, or you want to push around 1,000 horsepower in a heads-up grudge match, stop lying to yourself about the budget forged rebuild and just buy a crate engine. You're gonna spend about $6,000 either way. You can either spend it on 6 months of headaches, mismatched parts, measuring bearing clearances in a dusty garage, and sitting in machine jail shop, or you can spend it in 5 minutes online and have a bulletproof, professionally built Blueprint engine short block sitting in your driveway by Friday. The choice is definitely yours, but having seen exactly what survives a track season and what comes back into pieces, I know which one I would rather put on the dyno. But listen, buying the right engine is only 1/3 of the battle. If you take that fresh 800 horsepower crate motor and build it into a clapped out transmission, you are going to leave your drivetrain in a puddle of fluid on the starting line. I just dropped a video breaking down the absolute best and worst transmissions for the exact swaps and why you are probably getting completely scammed if you're trying to buy a T56. So if you want to view it, it's right here. And if you're stressing about how to wire up this whole combination without dropping $2,000 on a Holley Terminator system, my video for exposing the standalone ECU scam is right down here as well. Thank you for watching so much and I really appreciate it. We will see you in the next one on Torque Savvy. Peace.